What if I told you that the world's newest fifth-generation fighter jet, Russia's Su-57 Felon, might soon reshape the balance of power in the skies, and 5 countries are already at the front of the line to get it? Today, we break down the top nations most likely to become the Su-57's first foreign operators and why each wants it so badly. Russia's Su-57 is one of only 3 operational fifth-generation fighters in production today, offering advanced stealth, long-range weapons, next-gen avionics, and deep combat experience from real missions in Ukraine. With confirmed statements from Russia's Rosoboronexport that the first export contracts have already been signed, the world is watching closely. So who are the most likely global customers? Let's break down the top 5. Algeria, the front runner. Algeria has been signaling interest in the Su-57 for years. From senior officers photographed holding Su-57 models to official imagery placed in the Ministry of Defense in 2020, the signs are strong. Algeria needs replacements for its recently retired MiG-25 interceptors and has heavily invested in air power since the NATO intervention in Libya. Historically, Algeria often acquires new Russian weapons before anyone else, including systems like the MiG-25 and Pantsir SM. With growing geopolitical pressure and rising defense budgets, the Su-57 could become Algeria's new frontline fighter, and upgraded Su-57M variants could later replace much of its Su-30 and MiG-29 fleet well into the 2030s. India, a long and complex relationship. India has long been expected to be the biggest potential client. For decades, it has purchased Soviet and Russian aircraft ahead of almost everyone, like the MiG-29 in 1982 and the Su-30 MKI in 2002, a model actually more advanced than what the Russian Air Force used at the time. India was once a development partner on the Su-57 program, but withdrew due to concerns over cost and ambition. However, New Delhi's interest never disappeared. Talks for license production reportedly resumed in 2023. With China rapidly expanding its fifth-generation fleet and possibly beginning sixth-generation production by 2030, India needs competitive aircraft quickly. And with Su-30 MKI production costs rising, buying Su-57s directly from Russia may actually be more cost-effective than building older jets domestically. Vietnam, a strategic necessity. Vietnam's entire fighter, naval, and air defense forces rely heavily on Russian systems. With territorial pressure from China in the South China Sea and rising Western political friction, maintaining strong defense ties with Moscow is a strategic priority. Vietnam needs to replace its Su-22s and Su-27 soon, while the Su-30 Mk2 fleet is losing its technological edge. The Su-57's long combat radius is especially appealing for South China Sea patrols, one of Vietnam's highest concerns. Reports dating back to 2017 suggest Vietnam has already evaluated purchasing 12 to 24 Su-57s around 2030, which would streamline its fighter lineup and modernize its air power in a single move. Indonesia between 2 superpowers. Indonesia has tried to balance between China and the United States, but neither side has offered Jakarta fifth-generation fighters. Its previous contract for Su-35s remains signed but paused due to concerns over sanctions. With neighbors like Singapore and Australia already fielding F-35s, and both Chinese and American fifth-gen fighters deployed in the region, Jakarta risks being outmatched if it sticks to Su-35s. Indonesia continues to deepen military cooperation with Russia, and its efforts to sanctions-proof its economy could open the door to Su-57 acquisition instead, offering a leap ahead without depending on Washington or Beijing. North Korea as a wild-card possibility. North Korea has shown growing interest in Russian fighter production, including inspections of Su-35 and Su-57 lines in 2023. Despite strong domestic defense production capabilities, fighter aviation remains the country's weak spot due to decades-old UN arms embargoes. However, as Russia becomes increasingly reliant on North Korean industrial and military support, loopholes or joint force structures could allow aircraft transfers without violating export rules on paper. Reports from late 2024 even suggest North Korean pilots have been training in Russia, fueling speculation that they could be preparing for next-generation fighters. With the growing presence of F-35s in South Korea and Japan, the Su-57 could serve as North Korea's answer to restoring regional air power balance. What makes the Su-57 so attractive to these nations? It's one of only 3 fifth-gen fighters available today. It has real combat experience, something even the Chinese J-20 and US F-35 have far less of. It can carry powerful long-range air-to-air and strike weapons internally or externally. It offers an advanced stealth platform without Western political conditions many countries want to avoid. For buyers whose defense policies focus on resisting Western pressure or hoping to neutralize neighboring threats, the Su-57 offers capabilities that may redefine their military posture for the next 20 to 30 years. The next few years could determine the Su-57's global footprint. If even 2 of these nations place large orders, the fighter could rapidly become one of the most widely fielded fifth-generation jets outside the West. Which country do you think will sign the first big Su-57 export deal? And which nation actually needs it the most? Let me know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dive breakdowns into global defense, aviation, and military technology.